I don't have to do the sync thing anymore. I got a real off-duty cop vibe looking on right here. With this Cambodian shirt on. The old Miami Beach cop. I see one of those necklaces around my neck with like a badge that says like Federal Booby Inspector. Or I look like a dude preying on underage girls at Coachella. Hey, baby girl, come on, get in the back of the Winnebago. I got limited Snapchat filters. I got limited Snapchat filters. Come on. Your youth pastor said to try new things. This is a brand new experience, baby girl. Come on, we'll keep the devil away.
When there's stuff on your mind and it's feeling unclear, just hop on the mic and speak without fear. Let's air out.
What's going on, ladies and folks? Episode 47 of Air and Air Out, the sunglasses episode. We're going to stick these on the entire time. Maybe it's going to make me feel like a different person, make me have some different thoughts, you know? Dress for the life you want to live, is what they say. I always like trying to listen to like a fire-up song before I hop on the podcast, and then I always end up, I listen to one, and then another one just come on shuffle, and then I got to listen to that one, and it could be an endless. I listen to like 4 or 5 songs. I made a playlist for cutting greens, for cutting grass. Because you have to listen to music at that job. You have to. It's just, you're sitting like or else you're just hearing a lawnmower whirring in your ears for 5 hours straight, and that gets you. Some of the older guys like don't have phones, or they don't even wear earplugs, so they just must constantly have that drone going on. Like you go to sleep and it's just constantly. But yeah, I made a playlist. I've always just wanted to like have bangers, you know, keep my energy up and keep me focused, because like I like to full throttle it when I'm cutting my grass, try and do it as fast as possible. So I made a playlist called Fuck Your Greens Up, because of, like, the thought was you'd be headbanging so much you'd like screw up your lines and everything. So it was all like Dragon Force, Avenged Sevenfold, Sabaton. We got some Rammstein in there, some Ozzy Osbourne, some Skrillex. Like it's all bangers. And so I've changed the name now to Bangers and Grass, which like I've listened to it for the past like 2 weeks now, maybe just a week. I think last weekend I might have made it. So like past week, and it does wonders. Honestly, like I'm cutting my greens better than I ever have. Because the key to cutting a good green, if you want to do it fast, is you actually have to do it perfect. The perfect line, like if you do a straight line the exact width of the mower each time, you're doing the least amount of passes. That's the best way to cut a green. And I've been cutting lasers with this playlist going. So anyone out there wants to get on the Bangers and Grass train, if you got any fire up songs, it's only like 2.5 hours right now, which is like the max limit it would probably take you to cut a green. I only usually get to like an hour and a half of it, you know. Maybe 2 hours if I'm on a really bad day. But yeah, looking for more bangers. And if I get that up to like a 5-hour playlist to get me through my whole morning, that'd be sick. That'd be really sick. I also listened to Malcolm Gladwell's audiobook last week, Blink. And I've talked about him before. I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell. His podcast, Revisionist History, fantastic. I've hopped off it since I last listened to it, because I don't know, I have this thing where like if I'm watching something, I'm really into it. If I take like 1 or 2 days off, and this applies to like a lot of things, like even like weed smoking and stuff too. Once I take like 1 or 2 days off, my brain's just like off that topic and I'm on to something else. Like I watched the first season of Ozark, loved it. Have not gone into the second season or third season or whatever season they're on now. Revisionist History, I was loving the podcast. So interesting topics. Like he's really good. Like the production design, everything's great on it. But since I just like stopped listening to it, now I haven't gone back to it, and I gotta get it back into the rotation. I've listened to a lot more comedy podcasts like The Honeydew and stuff like that, but sometimes you want to learn something, not just like hear funny stories the whole time. And actually, I just noticed with these sunglasses, you can't tell if I'm looking in the camera or not. That was kind of thing. I'm like, every time I record these videos, I'm looking at the monitor, so I'm like looking slightly below the camera every time. But now with these sunglasses on, you can't even tell. Can't see where my eyes are looking. I could be looking all over you, girl. And look at this. When I stretch my shirt out, the Cambodians know how to make like a comfortable summer shirt. They're not used to big people, though. They're a smaller statured civilization. They're not accounted for this, this amount of girth. So, like, you see this little diamond opens up every time I open my arms, just showing off some cleave. I don't know, you can see below the pop filter. You can see the old V-tie hand that I got going on from work. But comfy as hell shirt. I think it's like pure cotton. Yeah, just fondling my tits on camera. But yeah, love this shirt. Love this shirt. So yeah, Malcolm Gladwell. I've read 2 of his books. I read Outliers, which is all about like highly successful people and how they got there. That's like the whole like the 10,000 hours thing to become an expert in something. He talks about that in there. And How to Talk to Strangers, another great book. And they're all like broken up. The book's like broken up into like every chapter is like a small story that like highlights the point he's trying to make. So it's just like a collection of like all these different stories all tying into the same theme. So like it keeps things fresh and interesting. I have a lot of trouble with like a lot of nonfiction books and stuff like that, where if it's just like the same topic on and on and on, I kind of like just start to lose focus. And like some things I find interesting when it's like boring sections, and I'm not super into it, and then I like start paying attention. Especially with audiobooks, like my mind will just start to wander, and then I'm gone. I've missed like 15 minutes of this thing. I got no idea what's going on. But yeah, Malcolm Gladwell was great at it. He self-narrated. I guess the audiobook I listened to is called Blink, and it's all about like the instantaneous like processing the brain does. Like it opened up with this guy who like found this Greek statue of a boy, and he's like, wow, this is like a perfect condition. I can't believe we found this. He was selling it to this new museum that's going to drop like millions of dollars on it. And they had an expert come in to look at it, and like immediately the person's like, that's a fake. That's not real. Like, why? Like, I don't know why, but just immediately my heart told me that it's not real. And then like they started doing all these extra tests and brought in more experts, and then like eventually it came out that the statue was fake. And like all the museum people like didn't recognize it. Like a lot of people looked at this thing, they'd done like scientific tests on it to see like I guess they can tell like the aging of the marble, because it like degrades into a different mineral. So it's like a higher like calcium content in the marble or whatever. And so like, yeah, they were ready to spend like $5 million on this thing, and then experts just started coming out like, yeah, this is fake, we don't know why. And then the more time they spent on it, they like kind of figured it out. So there's like a lot of instances like that of people just there's a tennis coach who, when watching tennis, he could always tell when someone was going to double fault. So like you screw up both your serves. I guess you get 2 tries on a serve in tennis. And this guy was like, when someone threw up their ball for their second serve, he could, before they even hit it, he could call it. He goes, okay, that's a double fault. They're going to double fault. And he was getting like a 90% to 100% like success ratio on calling these double faults. He's like, he was scared of himself, because like, I don't know how I know this. I don't know why. Just seeing that my brain goes double fault, and it's right all the time. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Super interesting audiobook. A lot of fun. And then he mixes like music and stuff into the podcast and the audiobooks. Honestly, the audiobook is just like it's 8-hour long podcast that he does. His podcast normally like 40 minutes or so on like one topic, and this is like just like a long drawn out version of that. So yeah, Malcolm Gladwell, if you're looking for any authors to check out, he's from locally here. He's from Elmira. He's been on like Joe Rogan. He's gotten around. He's a pretty big name out there. So yeah, he's great books. All 3 of the ones I said: Talking to Strangers, Outliers, Blink. Highly recommend. And his podcast, Revisionist History, also excellent. So yeah, if you're looking for more content to get you through your days, highly recommend checking him out. He's very cool stuff. But yeah, sometimes you just you get sick of the music. You need something else to occupy your mind. Usually I'm good at like listening to like fiction audiobooks. I can kind of get lost in a story easier than I can like getting lost in science and like historical stories. But yeah, sometimes a nonfiction author just catches me, and he's one of those guys. But wanted to tell you guys about a tale today. A tale that's happened. Really, it just happened Friday, Sunday, I guess. So as you know, I'm a yoga man. I'm a yogi. I guess for those people that teach yoga, maybe I'm not a yogi, but I would like to, honestly. I was talking to some people at work, and they're like, there's not a lot of yoga out there that's like not all like spiritual, and like there's so many. If you look up just like yoga channels, it's like yoga with Adrian, yoga with Sage, yoga with Flower, and they're all like, tranquil music, very slow moving. And I think that like that puts a lot of people off of yoga. That like, I think that's why people are like, oh, yoga's for chicks, That's a guy looking like I do right now, but yoga's a fucking girl thing, bruh. I just do dumbbell curls and that's it. But I was like, what if there's a yoga channel for like, like more like a funnier commentary, like a more average dude, trying to entice more people. Like there's gotta be a market for that. I feel like comedy yoga. I was like the easy title is to call it broga, but I feel like that's just gonna get an even worse name. That's gonna like discourage like females and stuff like that from joining in on the broga. So that's kind of something I've been thinking about. You know, what if I could even just like, I know enough poses now, and honestly, I could just take poses from someone else's video, do the same routine, but just like do a better commentary, make it more entertaining. So yeah, maybe I could be a yogi. Maybe I could be a yogi. But anywho, we do yoga with Adrian every single day, and my coworkers have picked up on that. So I was working with this one guy who I can't say his name because he refuses to give consent. He also doesn't listen to the podcast, so it doesn't matter. But, he's always chatting with me about yoga. He's kind of amazed. He's like, you do it every single day. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you gotten benefits from it? I go, yeah. I feel mentally better. I feel physically better. Right now I'm honestly in the best physical shape of my life, and maybe even the best mental shape of my life, honestly. Just a strong body and a strong mind going on right here. And that's all because of a daily regiment of yoga. So on Friday, we're working together, and we're way at the back at the compound. He's like, show me some yoga then. Let's do some yoga back here in the compound. So first, I start him off just like very like the basic steps. You start, hands to your chest, bring your sternum up to your thumbs, get that posture good, put your rollerblades like you're squeezing a block behind your rollerblades, and just breathe for a bit. And we did that for, a few breaths. Then it went to a sun salutation, so, forward fold, into a halfway lift, back into a forward fold, into a reach all the way up, and then bring your hands back down to your heart. He got that. You do that a ton of times in yoga. Like every yoga class we do, essentially, like usually starts with a sun salutation, just doing those moves. And then I was showing him some like downward dog, some planks, some lunges. And as we were in our three-legged dog, which is the downward dog, and you lift one leg up in the sky to come parallel with your spine. We're both in that pose, and one of our bosses like rolls up into the compound, of course, at the worst time. We're just like two idiots back there doing yoga. And he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing back here? He's like, oh, Aaron's just showing me some yoga, just doing some yoga moves before, during work, get ourselves stretched out. And he goes, I roll into the compound, I just see like two legs sticking up in the air. So I had to come in, and I just saw you guys doing yoga up here. That's wild. He wasn't like super angry, but honestly, he just like kind of laughed about it, and then he left. And last time, like, we didn't get in trouble at all. It's very hard to get in trouble at Westmount. And honestly, I think if I led a yoga class every morning, it might be like better for our group morale. Everyone would feel better in the mornings. I feel like I got to start stretching out in the morning, like finding like a 10-minute like morning stretch routine that I can just start doing like before work, because we did yoga at noon yesterday, and my body was so tight. Like it felt so bad, and usually we were waiting until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon to do yoga. I feel like it would be good to like get some motion going at the start of the day, especially if I'm not working and I'm not like just already out walking by 6:10 in the morning. That was Friday. I showed him. No, it wasn't Friday. That was like Thursday, I think. I showed him all those yoga poses, and then on Friday it was Mr. Michael's last day. It was a sad day. My sweet prince Michael Juris has moved on to better things, of going back to football training camp for the University of Waterloo. So he was leaving on Friday, and I wanted to like exchange numbers with him because he lives like a 10-minute walk from me. It's so easy for us to hang out. We've never done it. I think because we would see each other like 12 days on, 2 days off. You see them so often, you don't really have to hang out with people that much after work. You spend so much time already with them at work. So I gave him my number just so we could text back and forth and get some hangouts, do some other things outside of cutting grass together, holding hands on the same greens mower. And then I didn't really think much of that. And then on Friday night, I'm gonna pull up these texts. I get a text. I get a text from a random number. I've talked about getting a text from a random number here before. What was that guy's name? That guy from New York. I kind of want to find that dude. Where are you at? The guy looking for Jay. Miko. I haven't heard from Miko since we had our little conversation. Never heard if he got a hold of Jay. I don't know what's going on with Miko. But let's look at this. August 5th. Yeah, I think that was Friday. August 5th, I get a random text at 2:30 p.m. It was a half day on Friday, so we had gone home already. And it says, Coach, I can't go to class tomorrow. And now, old Aaron would have just been like, oh, sorry, I think you have the wrong number. I'm not a coach. But new Aaron, I love getting random texts now because I just dive right in. I get to play a character, it's a real fresh improv experience to an unexpected, victim. I'm gonna try and adjust my voice so you can tell when I'm reading it and when this text is from the other person.
Coach, I can't go to class tomorrow.
Why not? It's an important lesson.
Question mark, question mark. What's important? What's so important about a yoga class? Are you Coach Anna?
And right there, I'm like, must have heard me. He heard me like give my number to Michael, and now he wants to like he's messing with me about the yoga thing. So immediately you can't pull the wool over my eyes. Like I'm the master of improv. So I said, working the body is just as important as working the mind. You've been missing class all year getting quotation ripped quotation, and I will keep covering for you. If you're not there tomorrow, there will be a conversation on the matter. So getting ripped, I guess I already said his name, but a coworker came in one day. He's like, "Oh man, I got ripped this weekend." And then Michael and I were both like, "Oh, you got stoned this weekend? Like you got really like super baked?" He goes, "No, I was drinking." And then we had to explain to him how ripped is not a term for being banged up with booze. It's a term for getting, saucy on the spices. That's even saucy is the wrong term to use there. That was a bad analogy, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, I confirmed it. I misread your number. It's only 1 digit away from my friend's number. I entered the wrong number and sent you a wrong message. Hope it doesn't bother you.
And at this point, I'm gonna tell you, I'm kind of on the fence here. I'm like, that's a very strange message. Why would he want to like end the conversation here? But I was pretty confident still, so I'm like, you know what? Just gonna double down. I'm not gonna get to work next week and be like, hey, I got you over text. Like, no chance I'm playing the fool here. So I say, the only thing that bothers me is that you're not taking your yoga education seriously. And then the number says,
because it doesn't matter to me. I have to exercise regularly.
As you should, which is why you need to attend class tomorrow. What would Adrian think? If you need extra assistance, I'm here to help. We're all rooting for you, but commitment is key.
Lol, I've known Anna for 5 years. Do you think she won't know about me?
And then I say, I know how much it hurts her when you don't show up. She really cares about you. And after that, there was no text. After a while, like they were responding pretty quickly. And after that, like nothing, radio silence. So I'm looking at the number it comes from, and it's like a 786 number, which I don't recognize, but I don't know all the area codes in like Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo. I don't know what's going on here. So I Google it, and 786 is a Miami number. Like, okay, that's a little stranger. I'm like Googling 786 extension area code Canada, and I'm getting nothing, just getting the Miami-Dade area. So I'm like, okay, how did this person like text me the wrong number then? Because I'm a 705 number. You don't accidentally do that. You don't like, how do you, 1 digit off, you just happen to get to my number. Like you'd obviously get the area code right. So I keep looking up the Miami area codes, and it turns out that 786 and 305 are Miami area codes. So this was almost certainly not my coworker that I just aggressively told they need to be doing yoga. The wool was pulled over my eyes. The egg is on my face. I goofed. I really goofed this person who was looking for Coach Anna. But this is just the beginning of the story of Coach Anna. Because, actually, and then after I said, hold on, is this not, and then my coworker's name, were you trying to reach a 305 number? And then nothing. And I'm not going to text this number back again. Like, once they're done with me, I'm done with them. Like, it's not as fun anymore when you're like trying to force the conversation. It's more like when it's naturally occurring. That's when it's fun to, mess with the random numbers. So I was like, oh, that's great. That's like a funny podcast story. A random number texts me. I think it's my coworker. I mess with them. Not my coworker. I'm like, that's a pretty good, little 5-minute thing I can talk about. And I didn't think much of it until Sunday, August 7th rolls around. Yesterday. It is Monday. I took the day off work today, which in hindsight, it looks like it was a half day for them anyway. So like not a great day to take off. I took this day off because Will was supposed to come up this weekend, and he flaked on us because he wanted to play video games by himself with his cat. So my whole weekend ended up just being a free weekend here. But get a random text on Sunday.
Hi.
How are you this fine Sunday?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Anna?
And there it is. The second Anna text. So, like, it must be a common mistake. I'm thinking at this point, it must be like older people who don't really know how to like use phones. But it's so strange how, Anna must have gotten a new phone number. I think that's what we can piece together. This like crime scene board we got going on here, the red strings going all around that you guys are building in your mind right now. Anna seems to have gotten a new number. Just multiple people trying to get in touch with her this weekend. One person couldn't make her yoga class. Another person, well, let's see what they want. So I respond, I'm doing very well, thank you. Just finished up my morning yoga and now tidying up the house. I must confess, though, I'm not Anna. She must be a wonderful and popular person because you're the second to reach out for her this weekend. Very polite, because after the first like aggressive text message I sent back, I was feeling a little bad and didn't want to like screw over another one of Anna's friends. So I was like, Just gonna come clean right away, and then see where it goes. Text her, get back right after.
So we can exchange pictures so that we can get to know each other better.
And then like a picture gets sent and it's loading, and I'm 100% certain like this is gonna be a dick. This is gonna be a cock. I'm seeing popping up on my screen right now, and I was kind of like excited because like this is gonna be a great podcast story. And it actually turns out to be a picture of like a very attractive like woman at a wedding. Here's I'm showing the picture to the people on the YouTubes. If you want to check that out, go check out the podcast at 20 minutes in on YouTube. And I replied, wow, that looks like a lovely evening. Where was this photo taken?
I went to the wedding yesterday. Thanks for watching me.
Stranger, like very broken English, which still like gives off vibes of like Indian scammer trying to like, I'm just waiting for the text like, hey, send me money and I can fly to see you or something like that. Buy me a plane ticket or get me $800 in Apple gift cards. Or else the IRS will arrest you and send you to Gitmo. I don't know. That looks like such a fun time. You look lovely. It was my pleasure watching you. I always look forward to it. Still gotta play the character, Still gotta. Now I know the conversations. I've done my due diligence. I've claimed I'm not Anna. So they know. I feel like I'm not being a fraud anymore. So now I can just like have fun with this and just like anything goes. Really, no holds bar.
What's your name?
Aaron. What's yours? Who is Anna?
I'm sorry. I definitely put the wrong number. I hope you're not angry with me. My cousin Anna.
So, like, she was, like, off-put. She was upset. I'm assuming it's a she, just based on the one photo she sent me. That wasn't a penis, so that's kind of, like, a good omen. And then I said, no, I'm not. I was enjoying a pleasant conversation. Does Anna teach yoga? Because really the heart of the thing I want to know here is, who is this Anna? Who is this person that is probably a 305 than the rest of my phone number? Maybe if any of you guys want to try that out, see if you can get a hold of Anna. Just say, hey, is this Coach Aaron? And then we can get a whole thing going on with Anna and Aaron. Maybe a future wife. You never know. She's into yoga. I'm into yoga. She's in Miami. So, does Anna teach yoga?
Not working in clothing design.
Again, I'm assuming she says no works in clothing design. Maybe Anna does yoga on the side then, which would make sense for that Saturday yoga class. So Anna works in clothing design and teaches yoga on the weekends. The picture comes a little clearer. And I said, ooh, exciting. And what do you do, Anna's cousin? And she says,
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
And then I said, no need to apologize. It's okay.
How have you been doing yoga? My name is Larissa.
Great name, by the way. Larissa's a great name. That was like my elementary school crush. I think it was every guy to sit next to elementary school crush was Larissa. I do it every day with my roommates. We follow Yoga with Adrian on YouTube. Nice to meet you, Larissa.
What are you doing now? Have you had lunch yet?
Yes, I had lunch, and I just finished folding laundry. Now I'm editing my podcast before cleaning the rest of the house. How about you? I was putting the podcast video up. I wasn't editing this podcast that I'm currently recording at 3 o'clock on Monday.
I just finished my meal as well. You haven't told me your name yet.
I absolutely have.
I'm 39 years old, single, and I am from Ukraine, and now I live in Miami.
So I said, my name is Aaron, 28 years old, Canadian, and living in Ontario. Did you move to Miami recently? Because I'm thinking, Ukrainian. I'm just thinking like refugee from the war. That's my go-to. And then she said,
we can exchange pictures so that we can get to know each other better.
Which is still like, it's just a sketchy thing to like just strangers asking for your picture in the forefront of the communication, She's like sparing no time at all. She wants to know who she's talking to and what she looks like. She saw me a picture like five messages back and forth in. So she was eager. So I sent the picture of me in my flamingo shirt in front of the big flamingo and said, I like flamingos. And she goes,
you're very handsome and good looking.
Just knows the right thing to say, Larissa. I just know how to get right into my skin, just make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Work in a business planning company, now has her own company in Amy, USA. Lives in the US for 3 years, invests in real estate stocks.
And that one was weird because she suddenly is talking in third person. And like maybe I can just chalk it up to like being Ukrainian, English is a second language. It's a weird thing, but it also feels like he's just reading a profile of some chick, like some, Plenty of Fish account he found. Just some sweaty, like, Hispanic dude, just sweat dripping down his tits, just texting away at me trying to get my social insurance number. So that was a weird one to get.
What's your job?
And I said, thank you, Larissa. That sounds like a lot of work. Right now I work at a private golf course until the end of fall.
What is your role on the golf course?
So she like trying to figure out if I got money. Is this a wealthy Canadian dude she's trying to shack up with? Or what's going on here? Or is this someone trying to get my credit card? I'm a greenskeeper, so I get up early every morning to make the course beautiful before the golfers come.
Good job. Currency exchange service.
She just loves all these, like, keeps the conversation going, just jumps tangent to tangent, no segue needed. Currency exchange service, which I'm guessing that's her job, which does not really apply to the, business planning company in Amy, USA, invests in real estate stocks. Real estate, stocks, not real estate stocks, real estate and stocks. I enjoy it because I get to work outside all day. Do you have family back in Ukraine? Are they doing okay? I'm a concerned citizen, there's war going on. I haven't really paid attention to it for the past however many months, ever since like the first month.
Father's Ukrainian cardiologist, mother is an economics professor, Chinese, has a younger sister.
Again, kind of in like the reading off a profile, and this person's trying to like describe like who they're catfishing as to me. Like, they have a Chinese younger sister, like father's Ukrainian cardiologist and mother is an economics professor. That's all Gucci, Chinese, has a younger sister. Where'd that Chinese come from? You kind of lost me there, Larissa. And I said, you have a very successful family.
Do you play WhatsApp? Thank you too.
I said, yes, I have WhatsApp.
Can you send me your number? I want to know you more. Are you married?
So I think she's coming around on the old A train, Just irresistible in that flamingo shirt I am. And this mustache. Oh boy, this mustache is doing wonders for me. I'm not married. Looking for the love of my life still. My WhatsApp number is the same as this one, which is true. I mean, if she just looked at WhatsApp and like typed in this number, she'd find me. So I wasn't too... I don't think you can like get much information off of someone's WhatsApp. Like maybe that's where like if the scam was gonna progress, is easier on WhatsApp. I don't know. I have 2-factor on my WhatsApp though, so it's like she can't steal it.
I'm glad you're single, but you are 28 years younger than me. I'm 39 years older than you.
Math's a little off, but I think was saying like, but you are 28 years, and then she said younger than me. Just the punctuation's just lacking a little bit. I'm 39 years older than you, which it's good that they like stick to consistent story. Like I feel like if they're gonna scam me, they'd be like immediately diving on, to like, I'm looking for the love of my life, and like, oh, that could be me. Send me more pictures of yourself, young man. And then I said, age is just a number. What if we have a lot in common? And she said,
I hope so. Okay, I'll greet you on WhatsApp.
I said, looking forward to it.
I greet you when I arrive at home. One day you have to go to work at golf to exchange money for customers.
I don't think she understands what a golf course is. That's not really like what I do. Hey, just freshly cut your green. Do you need any rubles? While I'm at it, hey, any baht? We got it all here for you at Westmount Golf and Country Club. Then she said,
are you tired at work?
And I said, yes, I get very tired. I wake up at 5 a.m. and work for 12 days and only get 2 off. It's a lot of work. She goes,
I will cheer for you, but it's a good job for you. Currency exchange service.
No, she's just trying to get me to shift careers now. I don't even think she wants money from me. I think she just wants me to like have an appreciation for what she does, which I admire. I like that she likes what she does, Strong, confident young woman. Well, 39 is young in this day and age. 39 is not that old. Thank you. It'll be nice to have a cheerleader. I think I'd be good at that job. Look. Hello. Would you like to exchange some currency today? Pretty much nailed it. I think that's like really all you gotta do. The computer tells me how much money to give out. Currency exchange service. It's all about the service in my eyes. It's all about, connecting with your customers. And that opening line, hello, would you like to exchange some currency today? I feel like it's used a lot. And that would really, people would then know where they're at without even having to look at the sign. That's key. Because sometimes you wander into the wrong store and you don't know what you're doing. Am I at the McDonald's? Am I at the currency exchange service? I don't know. The cashier will tell you.
I'm going to your golf course.
You'll like it. It's rated in the top 15 in Canada. Want to keep it a little... Giving her mostly the truth. I don't want to tell her exactly, just in case,
I drive first and I'll greet you on WhatsApp.
And that is the last I heard from Larissa. That was yesterday at like 4 o'clock. Never got a message on WhatsApp, never got a text back. So I don't know what's going on. But that is that's the tale of Anna so far. So far we know, works in clothing, teaches yoga, has a Ukrainian cousin named Larissa, which I assume maybe is Anna also then Ukrainian. I feel like Anna could be a very Ukrainian name. I feel like that checks out. So really hoping to get some more texts to kind of, broaden my horizons on what I know about Anna. But for now, that is just the story of me and my 39-year-old Ukrainian girlfriend living in Miami, who's gonna come to the golf course and exchange my money for me, free of charge, I hope. So that's a great, just a great connection to have in my back pocket. But yeah, that was like I was excited to get that going on because I wasn't really sure what I'm gonna talk about this podcast. But now we've got a new chapter, and it's the chapter of Anna. A new chapter begins on episode 47 of Aaron Air Out. All right, so yeah, that was all the good texting stuff. And you guys want some recommendations? You guys want some movie recommendations? Some Netflix recommendations? I've been watching more Netflix lately. Just with Ethan really this weekend. We've been spending. He's injured his back, so he's got to spend a lot of time prone, which is hard for him because he's got a very active lifestyle naturally and normally, and now he's got to like just spend a lot. He can't sit down because it like pinches his sciatic nerve in his leg, so he's got to lie down a lot. So we spend a lot of time in the living room, just like watching stuff and hanging out. And the first thing we watched was the Woodstock '99 documentary on Netflix. At work on Thursday, I had left early because I was just like, I wasn't really feeling it. I was getting a headache. I was digging out sprinklers with my bare hands all morning in like the crappy weather and it was super humid. I was over it. So I was leaving. But like as I went into the lunchroom to wash my hands and leave, I look at the TV screen and there's titties on the screen. And I'm like, you know how to get a man's attention immediately. Titties. You just can't look away. So I'm like, what are you guys watching? And they're like, oh, we're watching this Woodstock '99 documentary on Netflix. And it like didn't really sink in too much. I was just like, sick, titties, that's awesome. And then I left. But then when Friday night rolls around and Ethan and I were like, hey, let's like kind of hang out. Will's not coming to see us. So we got a weekend free now. Maybe we should watch them together. And he brought up, hey, we should watch this Woodstock '99 documentary. I was like, oh, no way. Like they're talking about it at work. I've heard, I guess, it must be a popular thing if these wildly different generations of 28-year-old Ethan and 22-year-old coworkers are watching the same thing. That's, generational gap is closing. So we decided to throw that on, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was incredible. It's 3 episodes long, about 45 minutes an episode, so a little over 2 hours for a full commitment. We watched all of it in one go. But I knew nothing about Woodstock '99 going in. I knew about the Woodstock 69, obviously. I think everyone does. And then I had known like they tried to like recreate that magic later in the 90s, but I'd never really I just heard it didn't work out. I didn't really look into the details or anything why. And then this Woodstock '99 goes like super in depth into it, and it is absolutely fantastic. Like just great, like the storytelling and the filmography and like the talking heads they bring in to like do the interviews with of people like who are there and describing it. It was absolutely like fantastic. And it's in '99, so like there's a lot of video footage of the event too, which is great. So like I don't want to spoil too much about it because I like that I went in completely blind, knowing not much about it. But I can tell you, like, just like once you see the roster of the acts they had like lined up, and then it's like Limp Bizkit, Korn, Rage Against the Machine, at this peace and love, Woodstock '99, we're all about tranquility and love each other, and then you bring out all these bands, and like then the organizers like Pikachu face, like I can't believe the crowd's getting pretty rowdy when Limp Bizkit came on. And there's this moment where Limp Bizkit's performing and Fred Durst, like the front lead singer, there's just this great segment they have on him where it's like you can see like the mental battle he's going through because this crowd is like they're obeying his every move, and he can like move them around the way he walks around the stage and how he talks to them, and like he just their entire like emotional energy is like all connected to what Fred Durst does. And he has this moment where it's like he could, they're getting rowdy, he could definitely calm them down, get them back into like a concert headspace, and like they'll be fine, have nothing, nothing's gonna go wrong. Or he could just steer right into it and get them to like fuck more shit up and go crazy and nuts. And that's what Fred Durst did, and I got mad respect for him. He saw that power he had, he felt it in his hands, and he's like, I'm gonna use this power while I got it. And he just tipped him off, just threw a grenade into the fire, and just, oh my god, it was absolutely fantastic. And then he gets off stage immediately, and it's immediately like, it's not my fault, wasn't us, no idea what happened, just a rowdy crowd, can't blame us. And then they left. And that was only like episode 2 of 3 episodes. Like it gets like crazier after that. But yeah, absolutely fantastic documentary. Like the Fire Festival one was interesting to see. Just like, organizers and promoters not caring about the fans going, just doing a really terrible job. But like the people were pretty civil still about it, but they were not in '99. They were not civil. They were not having it. Just rebellious youth, fighting back, raging against the machine, I guess, for lack of a better term. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Woodstock '99. I don't remember what it was, the other thing. There's also one on HBO that is like an hour 50. That when I was reading about it afterwards on Reddit, people were saying that like the Netflix one did seem to like take the same narrative arc and like took a lot of what the HBO one did and then just like tweaked it enough to put it onto Netflix. So I don't know if there's one that's better than the other, but I can tell you like the Netflix one is fantastic. So if you're looking for a cool document, like a little 3-part documentary to watch, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Very entertaining. And then another thing we watched that's kind of relevant to this podcast is we watched How to Change Your Mind, which is by Michael Pollan, who's like a scientist. I don't know if he's like a biologist or one of those scientists, botanist or whatever's going on. But it's all about psychedelics. And so it's 4 episodes, each one on a different psychedelic. And we watched the first episode on LSD. And LSD, acid, I've talked about doing it on this podcast before. Talk about like how like what a great life-changing experience it has for me and how it's made me like appreciate life better and look at life differently. And it's like one of the greatest things I've honestly done in my life to like improve my like mental clarity and like the way I approach things and approach myself and who I am. So we want to watch this, LSD thing to see like what is a scientist's take on. Is he gonna like spew a bunch of like gobbledygook and like just like force feed these like very like off kilter like studies that they've done that just happen to like paint LSD in a bright light when there's really like not a ton of information out there on it. But it actually does like a really good job of explaining like where it came from, how it was used early on, why the government just like suddenly turned on it and just claimed it's awful for you and like terrible. You're gonna do, like doing LSD is like playing Russian roulette. Well, I don't think anyone's actually died from like doing LSD. Like you see, when people are on LSD, you honestly just want everyone else around you to be having a great time. You just have so much love and care in you that you just want to like take care of everyone around you and just make sure everyone's enjoying themselves. Like that's what LSD does for you. It's even when you're having a bad time, you can still like spin it because your mind is just changing constantly, and it's very hard to like stay. And you can like change your state of mind very easily on LSD, where it might be harder not on it. And then you can like take those lessons you learned while you're on LSD, like how to improve your mood when you don't have it floating around in your brain. So this documentary, it's like 50 minutes. This episode, we only watched the first one, but I think a lot of people who don't know anything about LSD, other than the government says we can't do it, it's really bad for you. I think you should check this out too, and it might change your mind on it. They got a lot of great ways to describe acid that I've never been able to put into words. The only downside we found was there's like one segment on the doctor who like discovered it, and like they talked about his second trip where he took a pretty big dose because they didn't really know how much LSD. He took like milligrams of it, and usually it's measured in micrograms. So he took a lot more than he should have. And like the visuals they had on screen to try and like simulate his experience weren't, they were like very discouraging, where if you saw that, you'd be like, oh man, I do not want to experience that. But it was a very short segment. And then after that, it turned into like the beauty of what you do see on LSD, and like how you see the world just in such clearer, better shape, and how like you can just stare at a houseplant for 8 hours straight and just love the entirety of it. So that's like that was our only gripe with it. But other than that, it was incredibly well done. Again, highly recommend if you got like an hour to kill and you're looking for something interesting to watch, or if you're if you've been interested in hearing more about LSD and acid after hearing me talk about my experiences with it and talking about it on this podcast. Highly recommend you go check that out as well. How to Change Your Mind and Woodstock 99. And then we also started watching Chernobyl last night, which again, Chernobyl seems to be very similar to the events of Woodstock 99, and just that the people running the show, clueless, useless, don't care at all, just care about profits and stuff like that. Very similar, insight into the human mind. And we only watched 2 episodes of that, but it was fantastic as well. I know people watched that like years ago when it came out, like 2 or 3 years ago it's been out now. and everyone raved about it, and I never got around to it. And then Ethan suggested like we should watch it because we watched Band of Brothers was the last HBO series we watched. Fantastic as well. So yeah, Chernobyl. Watched 2 episodes. Looking forward to watching a few more. Probably get that done this week. Hopefully there's only 5 episodes. So if you're just sorry, got a little hiccups going. Yeah, probably watch that by next week, and we can discuss that in the next podcast. But yeah, I think that's what I got for you guys for movie recommendations. Woodstock 99, How to Change Your Mind, and then Chernobyl. What else? I've been reading Norm Macdonald's book. Not recently. I've been trying to use it to like get back into reading. Hilarious book as well. Very funny. It's not, I think it's called based on a true story, but it's like very loose. Like there is true stories in there, but then he sprinkles in like a ton of like fictional stories that are purely just for like comedy's sake, and also just like taking the piss out of like other like celebrity, autobiographies and stuff like that. So really funny book. Just Norm Macdonald is a hilarious, like dry humor. Just the way he words things is just so hilarious. And even reading it, you just happen to like end up reading it in his voice, which just makes things even funnier. Like if someone else had written these same words, they wouldn't be as funny. But just the sake that that's Norm Macdonald makes it so much funnier. So I'm only like halfway through that, and I really gotta start reading that before bed again, because I've been on the phone before bed, and you just like stay up on your phone for no reason whatsoever. I catch myself, and I need to start catching myself sooner, that just scrolling through YouTube, not even watching YouTube videos, just like looking for something to catch my eye, and I'm just scrolling so quickly that like there's no way I can like take in all the videos and like thumbnails I'm seeing. And I gotta like stop myself and like, you're not doing anything right now, Aaron. Just go to bed. Just go to bed, wake up tomorrow, and you got all this extra time again, rather than just ruining your night's sleep. So yeah, I gotta start reading again before bed, and that'll be nice. We're not gonna hit the 50 books this year again. We might be able to hit, I think I read 27 books last year. Sorry, I was checking if it was raining out. Kind of heard it. Yeah, it is raining. I think I read 27 books last year. So if I can get to 23, then like 50 in 2 years isn't bad. But I'd kind of like to beat my record of last year and try and get to like 30 books. Which is still like, that's a great number. 50 would have been nice, because that's just like just under a book a week. But I think 30, how many people read 30 books a year? Not a ton. I don't know if any of my friends are reading that many books this year. Maybe like 1 or 2 of them. So yeah, gotta get back on that train, get some better habits going. But yeah, it's been a great book to get into. And then I've got so many books loaded on my Kobo still. Because like in May I had like planned out like the next 6 books I was gonna read, and then I just stopped reading altogether. So get back on that. I started playing guitar again yesterday. I finally picked it up. I was talking to Sarah, and she had to like she's going back to school for graphic design, which is good on her. She's gonna excel really well at that. She's much more of an artist than a nutritionist, and hopefully that's like not offensive to her. But she's just an incredibly creative mind, a very talented artist. So she's going to do great things at a graphic design school out in BC, and she's got to make a portfolio to apply. And she's like, I'm lacking motivation this weekend to do it. So I was like, hey, you know what? I want to play guitar this weekend, so I will send you some guitar progress if you send me some art progress, and then we can like, inspire each other to get things going. So I didn't end up picking the guitar until Sunday night yesterday, and I only could play it for like 15 minutes because I've completely lost my calluses after 2 months of play. But was pleasantly surprised with how well I could actually still play. Like, I'm not very far off from where I had left off the guitar. I want to, like, Blackbird was the last song I was working on, and I wanted to still, like, it's kind of like an impressive, it, like, has some complex chord changes. Like, you're moving from the 1st fret to the 10th fret, which is, like, a wide stretch for me, and, like, all the frets in between. So it's, like, a more complicated beginner song, and, like, there's finger picking in between, so it kind of, like, encompasses a lot of the things that I want to play. I also don't like playing with a pick, because, I don't know, I'm just not as good with a pick, and I just like picking up the guitar and just going with my fingers. So I tend to lean more towards the finger picking songs. But like when I picked it up, I'm like, I don't remember the chords. I remember the first chord of the song, and I couldn't find the transition down. And then I watched like 2 seconds of the tutorial video that I watched initially to learn the song. And once he's like, this is the second chord, every other chord just like fell into place in my brain. I'm like, oh yeah, and this is all you have to do. And then I knew all the chord changes within about a minute and a half of picking the guitar back up. And I could play it very subpar, but I just recorded a short video and sent that to Sarah, just to be like, hey, I did my thing. Now where's the art at? And I have not seen the art yet, so still waiting, Sarah. You sent me Rainbow Cat, which is a nice one, but let's see what else is going in the portfolio. That's a tough word to say. Portfolio. But yeah, that was a lot of fun playing guitar again. So I got to get back on, playing for 10 or 15 minutes a day, just get the calluses back, and then just keep hammering at it. I know the key is to they talked about this in Outliers, I think, that get better at something, enter that flow state of mind where time goes faster and you just get so focused on your task. They say you should do something that's 14% harder than what your skill level is, which is very hard to classify. What is 14% of skill in anything? It's very it's kind of an arbitrary number, but really what they're saying is it should be just harder than what you're currently working at. So doing something easier for you is not going to do anything to help develop your mind or build new pathways to how to accomplish this task. But if you go just harder, you got to figure things out, but it's still enough that you can handle it and still perform relatively well. And I always get I look up a song on the guitar and I really want to play this song, and I try it out for 5 minutes, oh, this is really hard, I'm gonna have to practice a lot and play it really slowly. Just not gonna play it, just gonna find a different song altogether. So I spent too much time in my last practice sessions on guitar back in the early year, just replaying the same songs over and over again, when really what I should be doing is using those songs as a warm-up, and then working on harder songs and more difficult songs. And then the better I get at those songs, you'll make the songs I'm practicing on easier, and I won't have to practice them as much. So I gotta get better at a practice routine, and just sticking through it when it's hard and when I'm not getting it, rather than getting frustrated and just giving up and be well, that's enough guitar for today. Just hammering it out. It gets boring. I'm not gonna lie. Just playing the same, the same finger picking pattern. You're supposed to play it really slowly, and then I play it slowly. I'm 3 times I crushed it. Then I just jump right up to full speed, and then I can't do it, and then I get discouraged. So gotta get better at doing that. Just get some better habits going. But yeah, it feels good to be back on the guitar, back on the music train. Ethan, I played some Clone Hero the other day. That was a lot of fun too. Clone Hero is it's Guitar Hero / Rock Band on the PC. So it's a free version of it, and they got every song you can that's been on the systems, plus a bunch more custom made songs. So at just a huge library. And Ethan's got an electronic drum kit that I really wanted to play, because I've been listening to, when I was making that Bangers and Grass playlist, I was listening to a lot of Avenged Sevenfold and Dragon Force and stuff like that, and just I just wanted to shred on the drums, just wanted to boom, boom, boom. Because we played in high school, that was our go-to game for a long time. After school, we would just go to Ethan's house and play Rock Band, and I loved it. I don't know what I would rank myself in the top percentage of Rock Band drummers, but I was really good at a point. I couldn't play the extremely difficult. Usually it's the bass pedal. I couldn't get a good double bass because I got a terrible foot positioning. Rather than do a flat foot pivoting from the heel, I would put my toe on the pad and then just shake my thigh. And I'm if I just put my toes closer to the apex of the pedal, closer to the bottom of the pedal, it has a smaller distance to move, and that's how I'd play faster bass pedals. Just move my toe down, so it's a smaller distance to travel. But I've completely lost that ability in my leg, and we played it last year. I tried playing some drums, and my foot and thigh would cramp up after one song. So luckily, this time when we set up the drums, he didn't have a bass pedal because where he does his band practice, because his actual kick pedal. So we couldn't set up the bass pedal, so we just had to play drums, no kick, and that was great. That was excellent. That's exactly what I wanted. It's all the arm feel of playing drums and hitting rolls and fills, and that feels great, but without having to worry about keeping that beat with your foot going. So it was much easier, a lot less to focus on, and I was having a great time playing that. Ethan excels at it way higher. Watching him play is very impressive. Especially the guitar, the solos he can do, and all those up and down the fretboard, just it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't have the finger dexterity for that. I'm okay at guitar, but yeah, drums is definitely where I always had more fun playing drums than I did playing the guitar. And at one point when I was younger, my dad's we'll buy you a Rock Band drum set or a real drum set. And I'm Rock Band drum set. I'll take the Rock Band drum set. And I think my dad was upset because he thought I would take the real drum set and actually develop a real skill. But no. I did at one point buy an old drum set from Ethan, and I played it maybe once or twice, but I'm like, this is really loud. I don't like this, and I can't play any of the songs I can play on Rock Band, so I'm just gonna stick to the video game. And then I ended up selling that drum set to my cousin. I don't even think we sold it. I think we just gave it to him actually. So that was a poor investment. That's probably why my parents don't want me to get a keyboard. She's like, you don't even play guitar. Why are you now moving on to a new instrument? I'm like, I don't know. That's just how I do things. I pick things up for a little bit and then I move on to the next thing. That's just how my brain works. I'm not good at staying at one thing for a long time. I like to just, like treat life like a buffet. You're not gonna go to the same table, the same person every single time. You want to get food, you're gonna like dabble all around. You're gonna try a little bit of everything. If you don't like it, you just go try another plate. I think that's the best way to live life. Is just try a bunch of different things, and eventually you're gonna find something you really like, and you're gonna stick with that for longer. And if you don't find something you really like, you just keep moving on to new things. That's a great way to live, I think. And I think I'm good at living without structure. That's once you put me in structure, I settle right into it. I get comfortable. I find exactly what I have to do to like make this structure work for me, and then I do not vary from that path whatsoever. And I hate that. It gets me depressed. It gets me upset, and I get mopey and like uncreative. So I gotta like keep things fresh for myself and keep things going on and moving. And that's why I'm gonna be homeless next year. Just never have an agenda. When I need money, I gotta figure out a way to make money. When I need food, I gotta figure out a way to get food. When I need water, I need to find a way to get water. When I need to shower, I need to find a way to do a shower. Just figure things out as I'm out there, like learning on my own. I think I'm a smart enough guy that I'm like confident in my ability to not completely fuck my life up. That's really what I'm going off of. That's my whole ambition towards doing this, is like, I'm not stupid. I'm an idiot a lot of the time, but I'm not stupid, There is like my common sense is very strong there, and I can usually, even if I get myself into a pickle as well, I can like usually figure my way out of that pickle. I'm good at handling pickles. So, I have a confidence in myself, even though there's also like, you have no idea what you're doing. You're crazy. You're stupid. Why would you do this to yourself? Make your life so much harder and not make money and have no retirement savings. But I'm like, that stuff's all boring, Why save up for a big house? Because if you save up in a big house, then you're going to live in that house for a long time. You're going to be stuck there. You're stuck with those roots. You can't just like freely leave if something catches your eye across the country, So I want that kind of freedom to just be able to like up and go whenever I want and just keep things moving for me and keep things fresh. And I think that'll be good for like the way I live my life, the way I got my lifestyle. But also, that's not how I live my life at all. So maybe I'm completely wrong, and I'm just an incredibly lazy person that doesn't want to like commit to a job and just wants to freeload for his whole life. Maybe that's the case too. I don't know. But you don't know till you try out. And I'm still a young 28-year-old man. Things really don't work out. I head south to Miami, find Larissa, and work in the currency exchange business, the old family business with her. Find out what I can co-teach Anna's yoga class. Not a bad life. Not a bad life, I tell ya. Yeah, that was a good rambling section. Can we talk about my mustache real quick though? Because I've said I think on this podcast, I hate how it doesn't grow in the middle. That's not what I've been saying on the podcast. But if you look, I get no hair right in the middle where Hitler's mustache was. I get nothing. Because I'm so pro-Semitism that I just refuse to grow hair there. But same like on the bottom of my chin, when I had a beard, there's like a bald patch right at the bottom of my chin, lined up with this little, what is the space between your lips? I think there's like a thing that's called, because it's like grooved in and stuff. I don't know what that section's called, but I ain't no hair there. But I keep like telling myself I'm gonna shave the mustache. It's been a good ride, but I also just keep getting compliments on it, which is crazy. We're at work, we were hanging out, and we see the goose guy rolling in. There's his big white pickup truck with a canoe on top, and he has 3 dogs that he brings with him, and he drives to our irrigation pond, and then just lets the dogs go, and they run around and chase all the geese away, so the geese don't poop all over the golf course. So I've always like seen him do it from a distance, but I've never like approached him. So when we saw him rolling in this time, we're like, okay, let's go drive to the pond. We'll chat him up, see what's going on. So we park. He parks like kind of far away from us, and then he gets out and he's like hobbling towards us, like limping clearly. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, do we go like meet him halfway instead of making him walk this entire way towards us? But everyone else was still sitting in their carts, and I was the only one standing up. And I was like, oh, I don't want to walk to meet him halfway. And now it's just him and I having a conversation, and everyone else is just sitting back staring at me, like talking to this guy. So I waited for him to hobble all the way up, and he's like, hey, how's it going, fellas? And then right away, it's like, you got a great mustache going on. And he himself had like some nice facial hair. I'm like, you sir, if you just shave that, shave that chin, you're gonna have a great mustache yourself. And he goes, no, the wife won't let me. Which, get a divorce, dude. She can't have a mustache. Not worth it. Mustache over matrimony is what I always say. So yeah, I was talking to him. His name's Ted the Goose Guy. It's just Ted though. I don't think anyone else calls him Ted the Goose Guy. But the limp came from, he said he got attacked by a goose. Like I guess one snuck up behind him and like hit him with a right hook with the right wing, right in the back of the calf, and just like his calf muscles just super tensed up. And he's like, yeah, it's super embarrassing because I tell people while I'm limping because I got attacked by a goose. And no one believes me. It's like, how the hell do you get attacked by a goose? How does a goose sneak up on you? They're so, like they're so loud. How does a goose, get the drop on you? So yeah, I felt bad for him on that. But then we got to go meet the dogs. He had 3 dogs. I knew their names. I know I know Jedi and Harley. I remember those 2 because they're in the back and they're the younger ones who were fired up. And then the one in the front seat, I want to say it was like Tess or something. Tess or Teddy. I guess she was the older one, just chilling in the front seat, was not excited to see us. Like what it looks like when you've been doing the same job for a long time, and then like the fresh people who come in, the fresh people were in the back, Jedi and Harley, and they were like fired up to be at work. And Tess is like, I mean, if we don't have to work here, if I don't have to get out, I'm fine with that. I'd rather just go home and do nothing. Super cute dogs though, like border collies. And then of course I just took an affection to Harley because that's my dog's name. And yeah, giving them good pets and hanging out with them, that was a great experience. Getting to hang out with Ted the Goose Guy. He might have the best job out there, honestly. You just drive dogs around, release them on a pond at a golf course. They run around, do a couple laps, get back in the car, onto the next golf course. Like what a sweet gig that is. So yeah, he was the first guy that's like, you got a great mustache. I'm like, wow, thank you very much. And then I think 2 days later, I was giving blood, and the nurse at the front desk, I was just sitting in the waiting room. She was sitting at her desk, and she goes, not a lot of people can pull off a mustache, but you do. It looks great on you. I'm like, wow, thank you very much. And CTV News was filming a thing at the blood donation clinic while I was there, but I guess they had just filmed before I walked in, and then when I left, they had already been gone. So they filmed like they're talking out front of the thing while I was just giving blood, and I couldn't have been sitting there in the window, mustache in full, like getting on camera. Could have advertised myself, plug the podcast. So unfortunately that didn't work out for me, but they get a great compliment on the mustache, and now I'm like, do I just keep it? Because I'm pretty fond of it. Like I think it works well on my face. The real question is, do I just keep dyeing it? Like I don't know. I feel like it's thick enough at this point that maybe I don't have to dye it as much, but it also looks way better when it's really dark. But I also don't want to be like dyeing a mustache for the rest of my life, I gotta draw the line somewhere and be like, maybe for special occasions. If I'm going to a wedding or something, I dye the mustache, or for like Movember, you dye the mustache. But for the most part, just like keep it normal. But also it's starting to get in my mouth now, and I gotta trim it up. I was wondering if should I just keep growing out further and further down my face, so I eventually do get a full handlebar mustache? Would that be cool, or is that a bad idea? I don't know. I feel like, because the way it is right now, I think it's a good looking mustache. I think it works, especially with these aviators and this Cambodian cotton t-shirt. I think it's a strong look. So yeah, you might be seeing the mustache for a while. Might just become a part of me. That's just a mustache guy. The beard had to go just because there's so much negative energy in it, because I grew it when I was an alcoholic and depressed, and I was disheveled. I didn't groom it for the first year. I didn't cut it at all. And when I kept it groomed and clean, it looked pretty good. But yeah, I think the mustache, it still reveals enough of my face, this handsome baby boy face I got, that yeah, I think I'm just gonna be a mustache guy. Just be a mustache guy. So other than that, that's a fantastic hour of a podcast. That felt really good. I got to tell you guys the story of Anna, and I got to tell you guys some Netflix recommendations to keep you busy until the next podcast. If you guys got any recommendations for me, let me know. Any songs I should toss into the Bangers and Grass playlist, let me know. Some real headbangers, get you going. I listen to all kinds of, heavy music. So that's just a ambiguous. I listen to all kinds of heavy music, yeah. Yeah, I like music. That's kind of one of my hobbies is music. I like music and games, and at work I do business. Just a all around, versatile guy. But yeah, got any suggestions for me? let me know. Other than that, though, I think this, I gotta go pull over some kids robbing an ice cream stand, so gotta get undercover. So it's been great talking to you guys. It was a pleasure to hop up back on this mic on a fine Monday, away from work. Back to work tomorrow, though, so it kind of sucks, but, you know, you do what you gotta do. Larissa, if you listen to this, what's going on, honey? Happy 2-day anniversary. And as for that, that's all I got for you guys. So have a great week, and Aaron out. Hey, you did a great job listening to this podcast, and I really think you're going to do a great job again next week. So be sure to tune in to Aaron Air Out every Monday on Spotify, Google, and Apple. Also, find me on YouTube at Aaron the Brock. Take it easy, folks.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Now take what you learned and have a great day. Damn, it feels good to air out.